Ladies and gentlemen, I really am delighted to be able to join you today for this critically important CFO Circle of Practice meeting brought about by my Accounting for Sustainability project, the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Group, and the Pearl Initiative. Needless to say, I am enormously grateful to the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Group for all of their efforts to organise today's meeting, as well as to Etihad and Abu Dhabi Airports for their incredibly kind support. And if I may say so, it is a particular pleasure to see Her Excellency Razan Khalifa Al Mubarak, Secretary General of the Abu Dhabi Environment Agency, and Badr Jaffer, founder of the Pearl Initiative, without whose leadership, I must emphasize, none of this work would be possible. So I'm hugely grateful to you, Badr, and to you, Your Excellency, because Badr has very kindly joined us in London on various occasions, and he's picked up the disease, I'm afraid, and helped to transmit it here. Now, I hope you won't mind if I take a few moments of your time to discuss with you why I feel it is so important that you have committed to participate in the GCC Chief Financial Officer Leadership Circle of Practice. Although I have been finding it a somewhat exhausting and frustrating struggle over the past 25 to 30 years to overcome the deniers and skeptics, we are facing what I believe is the greatest challenge ever faced by our economy and society, and therefore leadership from the finance community is absolutely vital if we are to find a solution. We are confronted by a terrifying combination of risks: the pollution and overconsumption of finite natural resources, the very real and rapidly accumulating risk of catastrophic climate change. This last year, for instance, we broke the dangerous barrier of 400 parts per million of CO2 in the atmosphere with the warmest temperatures on record. And we are also confronted by unprecedented levels of financial indebtedness and a population of 7 billion that is rising unsustainably fast. And to take a local example, which you will know far better than me, ladies and gentlemen, the UAE has one of the largest ecological footprints of any nation, including significant per capita use for water. And this will only increase with population growth, and I understand Abu Dhabi has seen a 50% population rise since 2000. The Abu Dhabi Environment Agency has stated that current levels of water consumption are 26 times the natural recharge rate of the groundwater, and that without changes, the main aquifer will be depleted in approximately 50 years. Investment has been made in desalination plants as a source of water. However, of course, this is costly, both financially and in terms of pollution, with greater carbon emissions and increased salination of the Gulf's waters themselves. I was much encouraged when I visited Masdar City earlier this afternoon. One of the reasons I'm slightly late, for which I must apologise, to see some of the work going on in trying to develop all sorts of innovative approaches to tackling these particular issues. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if we are honest, we know all too clear that we can't go on as we are. It is plainly apparent that organisations will need to redefine their business models if they are to prosper in this very different world. Finance and accounting are a vital component to this change. And this is precisely why I set up my Accounting for Sustainability project in 2004. And when you think about it, it is extraordinary to realize that when I had a cup of tea with the then chairman of the National Audit Office in the United Kingdom, all those years ago and raised the whole question of the lack of systems for properly accounting for genuine sustainability, this issue had never been considered seriously. I suppose that as far as the media and others are concerned, this was probably yet another unacceptable example of my interfering and meddling. However, 12 years later, the core of A4S's work is to help organizations understand why they should embed environmental and social issues within their decision-making to improve long-term commercial outcomes and, importantly, to show them how to do this. Over the years, A4S has worked closely with CFOs and their finance teams to explore what role they can and indeed must play in the creation of genuinely sustainable businesses. As a result of this work, the A4S Chief Financial Officer Leadership Network was launched in order to drive action forward. I really am delighted, if I may say so, ladies and gentlemen, and relieved to hear that a number of you have started to respond to the very real risks and opportunities faced by organizations in the Gulf. The case studies from Etihad, the National Bank of Abu Dhabi, Masdar, and Abu Dhabi airports, included in the Arabic version of the A4S Guide to Managing Future Uncertainty, show clearly that practical steps can be taken. These range from Etihad's investments in alternatives to fossil fuels, recognizing the long-term risk faced by the businesses governments around the world take action on climate change, to Abu Dhabi Airport's cost-benefit analysis to incorporate environmental considerations into capital investment decisions. So I can only urge the CFOs, finance professionals, and senior business leaders among you to take inspiration from these examples and to act while there is still just time. And at the risk of being a real bore, I do encourage you all to support this circle of practice, to begin to embed sustainability into your organizations, and above all, to look carefully and seriously at the immense potential of what is known as the circular economy. And incidentally, all this should also have the added benefit of making your organization and the region as a whole more profitable. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.